Good morning. This is Diane with Powerful Questions Coaching. I am going to continue my emotional hygiene series, and we're talking about the DISC, D-I-S-C, personality style. So there is lots and lots of ways to get to know yourself by different quizzes and stuff. I like the DISC, but whatever helps you out. There's also a couple others that I'm going to talk about, but I want to kind of give a story about the DISC. And so you guys can start to see which ones you are. So there is D, I, S, and C, and it's just another way of getting to know yourself. I think getting to know yourself is extremely important. I think that the beginning of learning to take care of yourself and grow really starts with getting to know yourself. What I have found is when you get on the internet, there's all these things about 7 ways to be successful, 10 ways to do this, and they don't all work for us. So we have to get to know ourselves to know which ones work for us. Like, one of the things I've learned is I'm a rebel, and so when I see those things, I'm like, nope, not for me. And not, I'm being a rebel. I do things a little differently. So I'm going to go over the DISC in a story so that you guys can start noticing which ones you would fit into. And it is very helpful to also help with how to communicate differently with someone. So here's the story. We all go out to eat every once in a while, right? So we can kind of picture in a restaurant. So the D is the one that comes up to the restaurant door, opens the door, may cut people off, goes in, make sure they get to the front of the line if they can. And then when they get told how long the wait will be, they may be like, that's too long, and get ready to walk out the door again. The D can be very abrupt. How you get given a vibrator for to let you know when your table's ready. At some restaurants still, not all, they beep you now on your phone. But in that, the D is likely to keep checking that and saying maybe it's not working. They can't sit there and relax. They're just checking it and making sure, did they get ahead of me? Because if they got ahead of me, I'm going to go say something. So there's the D. The D can be, it's very directive, very dominating, can be kind of aggressive to other people's perception. Then there's the I. I'm an I. So here's the I that walks into the restaurant and they're like, oh, there's all these people sitting here waiting for a table. The I may chit chat with them, tell stories, talk, socialize, connect. The I is not necessarily really in any hurry. A lot of times they're kind of off in their head thinking about stories and telling stories. So being an I have to be really careful because I like to tell stories. And I'm also at risk for interrupting other people when I tell my stories because I think I have something important to say that maybe someone else doesn't want to know. So one of the things with eyes that I'm really aware of is if you get interrupted and somebody doesn't ask you to finish telling your story, don't finish telling your story. That means they weren't really listening and wanted to hear it anyway. So that is something I have to be really careful of. So this is why the DISC really has helped me because I can go, okay, these are things that I tend to do that I need to be cautious of. I tend to interrupt people. I tend to think I have something important to say, and maybe people don't want to hear all my stories. So just being aware of that. And then there's the S. The S will wander into the restaurant. They'll hold the door for other people. The S will just kind of be a little more slow and laid back. Some people, the Ds, sometimes think that they're lazy. So the S oftentimes will let someone cut them off, get in front of them. The S, if they're sitting waiting for a table, they may get up and let someone else to sit there. So the S is just very kind of people-oriented, very laid back, not much ruffles their feathers. They're pretty just kind of go with the flow people. And then there's the C's. Now the C's are, they want a lot of information, a lot of details. They want facts. They want, so they're sitting in the restaurant and they're looking around and they're going, how many people are allowed to be in here? Is it too full? They're looking around and they're going, where are the exits, where are the fire safeties, and they kind of know, they come in and they check out the place and they know where the restrooms are, where the exits are, where the fire extinguishers are. The C's are very detailed, precise facts. So here's why it's kind of important and fun to do. So I was having some trouble with somebody at work and I just felt like we weren't connecting, which was unusual for me because I feel like I connect to people most of the time, and I was like, we are just not connecting. She is just not wanting to hear anything I really have to say. She's not wanting my stories or anything. And so I looked at it and I started thinking, okay, what is she? I know I'm an I. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, she is a D. She's very abrupt. She just wants the facts. She doesn't want me to sit and socialize and tell her stories. So it was actually really helpful because I was able to say, okay, stop chit-chatting with her. She doesn't want that. Just give her the facts. Here's the person that's coming. Here's what the unit they're going to. Here's what needs to happen with them. And don't sit here and socialize with her because she doesn't want that. So that was very helpful for me, and to kind of start looking at people and saying, okay, I'm an I, and I don't react well with this person in general. So this is how I need to change my communication to connect with her. Now, here's the thing is I don't change me. I'm not changing myself. I'm just changing how I communicate so that we can have a relationship that's workable and we're not getting on each other's nerves. So here's what the general research says, that S's and D's don't get along real well because D's find S's lazy, S's find D's abrupt and rude, and so they tend to clash. So it's something to be aware of. Now, C's and I's tend to clash. Now, the interesting thing is almost all my really good friends are C's. I don't know what that says about me, but almost all my really good friends are C's. So I'm an I. I'm a chit-chatter, a socializer, storyteller. C's are very facts and very direct. But for some reason, most of my really good friends are C's. And so I just need to be kind of aware when I come in contact with a C, a lot of times I don't tend to have a lot of facts. I do a lot of stuff on feeling, and I don't really research stuff as much. And so C's in the workforce anyway, C's and I's can clash because I'm not necessarily getting all the data and all the things that they feel like are important. So I may look like I'm doing a halfway job. I may look like I'm not very competent to a C because a C feels like there should be very strict data, information, very clear. And so in the workforce, that can be kind of conflicting. So I hope that helps. To me, the DISC is very fun. I like to look at people and go, oh, that's a D. And that means this. And so and we're all different, but it gives me a clue of how to communicate best with them and kind of connect with them. A D doesn't want my stories either. So don't go to them and start telling stories because they don't want to hear the stories. So I hope this is helpful. Again, this is Diane with Powerful Questions Coaching. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me at powerfulquestionscoaching.com. And please click like if you like this video and it was helpful. Thank you so much. Have a great day.